Greetings everyone and welcome to episode 4 of, I don't know how many episodes there are, about COTA's transit system redesign. My name is Tape City, and if you don't know who I am in the Columbus area, my name is Chris. Now the main purpose why I'm putting these episodes out is because on May 1st, 2017, COTA will be doing their transit system redesign. And that is pretty much a serious overhaul of the entire bus network for Columbus, Ohio. So if you don't live in Columbus, Ohio, this series won't affect you. However, if you rely on COTA in the Columbus, Ohio area, please pay attention. Now, if you want to find out what is happening to routes 1, 2, 10, and the 2L, I will leave links in the video description for the first 4 episodes. In today's episode, we'll be going over routes 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, and I'm going to tell you right now, 3 of the routes that I will go over today are getting eliminated. The routes on today's episode will be the St. Clair local, the Oak Bryden local, the McKinley Fields local, the US 33 Watermark local, the Harmon Greenlawn local, and the Grove City local. Now in this example here, I just simply drew a straight line and wrote bus route. If I highlight a part of the route or in green, that means there'll be no changes to the bus route. If I highlight a part of the route in yellow, that means that part of the route will be dropped in 2017, but another bus route will be covering that area. And if I highlight any part of a route in red or an entire route in red, that means the bus route is getting discontinued, and I will try to refer to the closest routes, if there are any close by, that you will need to use to get to where you need to go. The first route we are going to take a look at is the St. Clair local. And here is what the route looks like today. As you can see, it's a very small route, and then it doesn't go very far out of downtown. It ends right at OSU Carepoint East. Now, the downtown alignment, although was not mentioned in the transit system comparison guide, the downtown alignment for the St. Clair is obviously going to be changed. However, there will be another bus route servicing the area, and after some more research discovered, it will be serviced by the number 9 Brittenell local, which is a realigned Leonard Brittenell local. Now, from Hamilton Avenue and Long Street to Mount Vernon and St. Clair, that part of the route is being discontinued, and your nearby choices will be either the Mount Vernon local or the Brittenell local. From St. Clair and Mount Vernon to St. Clair and Atchison Street, that part of the route is being dropped from the St. Clair local, and instead will only be serviced by the Brittenell local. From Atchison Street and St. Clair to Atchison and Champion, that part of the route is being discontinued, and your nearby bus route will be the Mount Vernon Avenue local. Now from Champion and Atchison to Champion and Leonard, that part of the route is being dropped from the St. Clair local, and instead you'll have to utilize on the OSU Rickenbacker Crosstown, the number 22. Now from Leonard Avenue and Champion Avenue to Leonard Avenue and OSU Carepoint, that part of the route is still going to be serviced by the number 11, but it will definitely not be the St. Clair local, and I'll explain why in a couple moments. And finally, from Leonard Avenue and Champion to Leonard Avenue and St. Clair Avenue, that part of the route is being discontinued, and depending on where you are, you will need to utilize either the Brittenell local or the OSU Rickenbacker Crosstown. Now if you're wondering what's going to happen to the St. Clair local and wondering what the route's going to look like, there will be no St. Clair local after May 1st of 2017. There will be a number 11, and here is what the number 11 is going to turn into. It is going to become the Bryden Maze local. So the Bryden Road part of number 11 will be here, and a new bus route is going to be implemented. Now the Mays Road local is going to be a combination of pieces of the Long Street local, the small sliver to St. Clair local, which I said is going to be kept, and pieces of the number 8, as well as several other bus routes. And I will show you the full route in a little bit. We will now take a look at the Oak Bryden local, and here is what the route looks like today. As you can see, it starts downtown and then the route branches off into two segments. One branch travels down Bryden Road and one travels down Oak Street. They reconvene at Main Street. The route then travels down Alum Creek Drive to Refugee Road and then turns onto Refugee Road. It then travels all the way out to Gender Road Town Center. Now, like I mentioned, in the St. Clair Avenue local, the alignment downtown is going to change, so it's a good rule of thumb for me to say that the alignment downtown is probably going to change. Now, from downtown to Holtzman Avenue and Main Street via Bryden Road, that part of the route is going to stay the same, so there'll be no changes there. However, if you take downtown to Fairwood and Bryden via Oak Street, that part of the route is being discontinued. And you will have to utilize either the East Broad Street local or the Bryden Mays local, depending on where you are. And from Main Street and Holtzman to Alum Creek and Phoebus, that part of the bus route will still be serviced by the number 11, so there'll be no changes there. However, from Alum Creek and Phoebus to Gender Road Town Center, that part of the route will still be serviced, but it will not be serviced by the Oak Bryden local. Instead, it will be serviced by the Refugee local, which is pretty much a combination of the Whittier Street local and the Refugee Road part of the Oak Bryden local. There is no mention of stops along Nelson Road, but from my understanding and what I can see on the map of what the route will look like in the future, I think these stops are going to be discontinued. However, I'm not 100% sure about that. And if you're wondering what's going to happen to the number 11, like I mentioned, it's going to connect with the new Mays Road local, and here's what the entire route is going to look like. It might be a little hard to see because for some reason they only had the picture of the entire route and not its two counterparts. It will start at Phoebus and Alum Creek and then travel the current Bryden local alignment to downtown. Once it leaves downtown, it will travel east on Long Street until it reaches a certain point. It will turn north and then turn left and go to Carepoint East before traveling up Joyce Avenue, several other streets, and then traveling up the Mays Road area before turning left and then laying over right around the same area the 95 is right now. And this blue line, which you can see is what the route is highlighted in, indicates standard bus service of 60 minutes or better. And I did look at this, and it's unfortunately going to be one bus an hour for this bus route. We will now take a look at the number 12 McKinley Fields local, and here is what the route looks like today. It starts off at the McKinley bus barn, travels on McKinley Avenue, then travels south on Sauter Avenue to West Broad Street. It then travels on Broad Street to downtown when it will turn north onto 4th Street. It will then travel up 4th Street to 5th Avenue, and then travel east on 5th Avenue until it reaches Fields. And from there, it travels to the Fields bus barn. Trips heading to McKinley bus barn travel the same way, except instead of traveling down 4th Street, they travel down Summit and 3rd Street because 3rd and 4th Street are one-way streets. Now, from the McKinley bus barn to McKinley and Sauter, that part of the route will still be the same, so there'll be no changes there. Now, from McKinley and Sauter to Sauter and West Broad Street, that part of the route is being discontinued, and depending on where you are, you will have to utilize either the West Broad Street local or, of course, the McKinley Fields local. Now, from West Broad Street in Sauter to West Broad and McCarney, that part of the route is being dropped by the number 12, but it will still be serviced by the West Broad Street local, of course. And finally, from Broad and Mckinley Boulevard to the Fields Bus Barn, that part of the bus route is going to stay the same, so there'll be no service changes there. And if you're wondering what the number 12 McKinley Fields is going to look like without the Broad Street part of the route, here is what the route will look like now. As you can see, when it reaches Sauter Avenue, it will then turn north and then turn onto the Long Street, Spring Street. I'm not even sure what that road is, but it will then travel down to Front Street and then resume the alignment it currently does today. We will now take a look at the US 33 Watermark local. And this route I actually have a little history on. I think that originally when this route was put into service, way back when, I don't know when this route was put in, but maybe 70s, 80s, I don't know when, but when this route was put in, I think it originally was an express route. It was sometime later switched to a local. When I first found out about this route, it was numbered 69. However, more recently, it was renumbered from 69 to 13. However, the route itself was pretty much the same. Here is what the route looks like today. As you can see, it starts off downtown at one of the bus bays, travels north on 4th Street, and then travels west on Spring Street. The bus will then travel to a post office and Department of Public Lease. I can't tell what that is. Department of something. And then we'll lay over at Dublin Road and Grandview Avenue and Watermark Drive. Trips coming downtown will do the same thing. However, when it gets to Long Street, it'll travel down Long Street and then lay over at the North Express Terminal. This route also only runs select trips during peak service only and does not run all day long. And unfortunately, bad news for this route, the entire route is going to be discontinued on May 1st, 2017, and unfortunately, there is no bus route or bus routes in range of this bus route to take you to the places you need to go. So on May 1st, 2017, the US 33 Watermark local will be officially discontinued. Now we will take a look at the Harmon Greenlawn local. Now this bus route is a relatively new bus route that was added a couple years ago, and it pretty much functions the same way as the US 33 Watermark route does. Here is what the bus route looks like. It is pretty much starts off on South Front Street, travels north, then travels south on High Street, then travels west on Rich Street before traveling to Town Street and several other streets before laying over at Greenlawn and Harmon. Now, basically, from downtown to Sodor and Mound, that part of the route will be dropped from the number 14 and will still be covered by the number 3 Harrisburg, which is right now the number 15 Grove City. And then from Sodor and Mound to Harmon and Greenlawn, that part of the route is being discontinued. So basically, in a nutshell, the Harmon Greenlawn local is also getting discontinued after May 1st, 2017. And last but not least, we'll take a look at the Grove City local. And I'd like to end on some good news. Here is what the bus route looks like today as it starts downtown, travels down Harrisburg Road, and then lays over down in Grove City. And with the exception of the downtown alignment, the Grove City local will not see any changes to the bus route itself. However, on May 1st, 2017, its number will change from 15 to 3 and it will be renamed the Harrisburg local, obviously because it travels down Harrisburg Road. This bus route will also connect with the Northwest Boulevard local. Either way, here is what the Harrisburg local will look like on May 1st, 2017. As you can see, this blue line indicates standard bus service of 60 minutes or better. And basically, this whole route is a blue line, so you'll have standard bus service. For the next episode, I will be covering routes 16, 18, 19, the new 21 crosstown, and the new 25 crosstown. And I will tell you in that episode, one of the locals is going to be discontinued. My name is Chris. If you liked this video, please subscribe. If you want to see the videos about routes 1 to 10 and the 2L crosstown, links will be in the video description below. As for my gaming friends and Halo buddies, I still have gaming content and Halo stuff coming, but I've been pretty hindered in getting stuff out due to a whole bunch of life issues going on right now. So, my name is Tape. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.